I'm Sherry Barman. I'm a Year 12 student at Turramurra, about to graduate. I've known Alex since I was in Year 7. We were actually in the same class together and we've grown up in high school together.
I'm Keith Perry. I'm at Turramurra High in my final week of Year 12. I think I first met Al in the library in Year 7 and I hit it off with him instantly. We talked a bit and it was a bit challenging, but he was a funny guy to talk to and it was just good.
Wanted to just make new friends in Year 7. I just introduced myself to Al and something clicked and things just worked out really well.
My name is Inoki Tuhukava, aka Mr. T, aka King of Dad Jokes. I've known Al since Year 7, that makes it about 6 years now. He's grown a bit in that time and I've seen him go through different chairs. I've seen his body develop in different ways too, and the way in which he's been able to use it.
I had Al in food technology in the senior school. Al was very enthusiastic, especially in practical lessons, so it was wonderful to have him in there. He shows the students another way of having to do things. He comes in quite cheerful and ready to participate, and he's just like any other student, to be honest.
It's been an awesome experience, not just being with him at school, but also outside of school, doing a lot of stuff together, like bowling, movies, all that sort of stuff.
Growing up with Alex and going through high school with him is just like anyone else, really. It's just like he can't speak as much, but he can learn the same as all of us.
I used to think that, have to treat him, specially, but he's just another student, he's another friend.
And it's so good for him to be able to have the normal high school experience, or as normal as he can have it.
You're gonna kill it.
Teachers love him in the class because it's funny as, they'll be talking and they'll say something that's a bit off and you'll just laugh at them and it just brightens everyone's day.
I'm joyous and thrilled and can't believe it's all done, the school's done, but I'm so proud of him. We all are, because it's taken a community to get him this far. Even though Al had disabilities, I always knew I wanted him to have a similar journey to his 3 older sisters. I couldn't put into words what that actually was. I didn't know anything really, except that I knew that I wanted it to be similar. I attended a workshop in 2005 run by Family Advocacy, and it was the first time I heard the word inclusion, and I knew that's exactly what I want for my child. I want him to have a similar time and experience the same things with his peer group. And so from that moment, once I heard about inclusion, I wanted to know more. It's been a learning curve all along, right from the beginning. It doesn't say that it's going to always be easy, it isn't, and parenting isn't easy, and every child is different. Able-bodied or not, every child does present with some issues, and I think by number 4 I realised that Al's just another one of the kids. In Alex's case, physical disability presents a lot of issues with accessibility, and every time he started a new school, preschool, primary school or high school, there was an 18-month or 12-month lead-in from ramps, getting into classrooms.
We found out probably 18 months before, I think, before Al started, that he would be coming to Turramurra High School. There was a lot of thinking about what would need to change at the school, a lot of work to do, and all with a focus of making sure things were ready for him. We didn't want to be caught in the situation where he turns up on day 1 and we're not ready to go. I think the biggest thing about staff readiness was about mindsets. So that was really about talking about inclusion.
The world's not black and white, and there's no cardboard cutout, there's no cookie cutter. I think if we can utilise difference and understand that difference is good, difference is okay, by enjoying what's around us, being inclusive, being understanding, being accepting of others, regardless to your own belief, your values, your opinions, your view, it can create a rich environment for all, and I think that's how we can move ahead.
Turramurra is quite a diverse school. Al is part of that diversity. It doesn't matter if you're in a wheelchair, it doesn't matter if you're another nationality. And so if you include all that diversity, just makes the atmosphere of the school such a tremendous cohesive school, which is what you want.
We need to embrace change, and I think we need to look for opportunities. And one of those is looking in your local community.
I first met Penny when she came to a soccer registration day. I was the secretary of the soccer club, and she came up and innocently asked, she wanted her son to play soccer and would he be able to, and I kind of said yes. I didn't see why not, and then she went on to explain why she was asking the questions, and myself and the president at the time, we couldn't see any reason why Alex couldn't play. The kids just adored having him in the team. And then my mum wrote a letter to Peter Fitzsimons for the Fitz Files, which got published, about how great it was, the inclusion of having Alex in the mainstream soccer team. And basically it caused a media storm after that. So it was a pretty amazing time.
I work as a journalist at the Sydney Morning Herald. I do a sports column which ideally encompasses everything, and I have always noticed that stories about real people, actual people, get a much better feedback than professionals hitting a ball for salary. And so this story came across my desk of a young fellow that had been rejected by 3 or 4 other sports clubs. Hornsby RSL said, we'd love him, brought him inside, and the most touching thing about it was that in terms of it, yes, it helped him, but it's also the impact on the people in the team with him. They were the ones that were lifted up. And, you know, when I put it out there, it's just, the reaction was fantastic of people saying, well, this is the way things should be.
Al broke the ice, basically. So other teams then started to let other children with both intellectual and physical disabilities be part of mainstream teams, which is what it's all about. The kids just want to play.
For me, you can keep your Masters wins, you can keep your 1989 Grand Final wins, you can keep centuries and 334 not out. They're all magnificent, but that does not encapsulate sport the way those kind of stories do. And those are the ones that the inclusiveness, those are the ones that inspire.
Soccer down in the bottom oval was so much fun. Like, I remember quite a few times when he'd bring different types of chairs just to play soccer. And when we used to push him around, he used to do little cheeky tricks where he'd just keep the ball with him and we can't tackle him. So he'll just go off and score goals. I mean, it was a lot of fun.
I think people learn very quickly why including everyone is important, and everybody does gain from that. Turramurra High School really showed that in the swimming carnival. Al was to swim in the 15 years age race regardless.
I thought, well, how can we actually get Al in the pool moving forward at the swimming carnivals? And we were able to get a kayak, and with that kayak we were able to work a way to get him in.
They ran the race and the PE master, Mr. Teague, pushed the raft, and the whole school saw that this school is on board with inclusion.
Something like having Mr. T pushing the kayak when Alex is at the swimming carnival is amazing. That's what he needs, putting him into a change room so he could hear the banter of the other students, amazing.
I think anyone that's been at school and done PDHPE knows that in the change room there's banter and there's shenanigans and there's all sorts of things. So I thought Al's never been a part of that, so I just took him in there. Came and picked him up a little bit later so he could be a part of that.
Same with the athletic carnival. Al would do it in his power chair. He'd run his race. So I think the bar was set, and once everyone gets into that rhythm, it was all right. They could find a way.
If there's a will, there's a way. And I think that's a part of the reason why Al and I have had a connection. We just made things happen, tried things.
There are people within every school who will just embrace the opportunity and the challenge to make things work in a creative and really rich way. And I think while some people felt quite daunted by the prospect of trying to provide an inclusive education for Al, there were other people on staff that said, great, let's go, this is going to be fun, and they made it work.
Just got to do your best. And it's not that you don't have days when you think, God, this is tough, but then other days, you just fly high.
always like this at our house.
I think if you start on the journey of being separated, it is very hard to come back.
I wholeheartedly believe that withdrawal or segregation is not the right method for any student. If the child is in the classroom, they're getting the expert teacher in that field. They're also not going to be falling behind in their work. It's not just academic work that they're missing out on. They're missing out on all those intricacies of the classroom. If I'm taking them out one-on-one, man, I get boring after a little while. But if they're in the classroom, they get to see their friends, their teacher, and also other students are learning from them, and the teachers are learning from them at the same time.
You actually want to be in a classroom that looks a lot like Australia, and it should have all of those things where it looks like the community from which it has sprung, and that will include those with disabilities. But it should be, we're all in this together, we're all looking after each other, we're not isolating ourselves from others.
I'm here at graduation tonight, and I just feel so proud of every single student that's here walking across that stage, and in particular those students who've had to put in extra effort just to get to school each morning. You know, they might have had a really rough night at home, maybe they've had a lot of pain or something like that. I guess it'll probably be summed up when I'm a teary bawling mess, which I probably already am starting to be now. I'm just so excited to see him walk across the stage. It's going to be such an exciting moment, but also his other peers that have been on this journey with him.
Good evening, special guests, parents, families, staff and our wonderful Year 12s. Tonight marks an important time that brings with it a sense of accomplishment and pride.
Al is a great example of a young man who spent 5 or 6 times in intensive care. But I can tell you that he is complex, he has severe disabilities. I don't have all the answers, I'm learning as I go.
I feel a lot of people have a desire to want to include and they want to empathise, but they don't exactly know how they can make a difference or how they can help, I guess, break the ice or make people feel comfortable. And I think when you just take a risk and your heart's in the right place, you can't really say much wrong.
We should be able to provide an education for a child who has high needs and to give him as close to a regular high school education and high school experiences as any other student that we have come onto our site.
Yeah, everyone should get the opportunity to be able to come to a school like this where it's all fair and stuff.
I've always known that Turramurra High School was a very inclusive school, not just for kids with disabilities, but just people who, you know, are just different in different ways.
The opportunities it's given me and others has been really significant to our lives and has had a really huge impact on us.
All those soft skills go out into the workforce and out into the community. And that's where you start to get the inclusiveness that you want in our communities and the acceptance, the promotion of diversity.
It is a basic right for every child to attend their local school. I think that we need to support young families in this journey of education, and to know that to educate a child is the most wonderful thing in life, and we will get great results if we look after every single child.
There's been huge progress made in the realms of inclusiveness, but it's time to blow away the last obstacles between us and inclusion. We're all in this together, inclusion and diversity.
I think inclusion is a great place, not only for the individual who needs to feel included, but for people around them who need to understand, how can I empathise with that person? How can I feel or get to know what they're going through? How can I make them feel more supported and comfortable? And I think if an individual can help others to have that empathy, It helps them learn how to be more caring and loving towards other people. Al, I know who you are, mate. Keep doing what you're doing. All the best in the future, mate.